Hello and welcome to UEFA Nations League Match Day 3, another international break in October, and we are here with Alain Valnegri and Alvaro Romeo. Hello guys, to analyze this new match day in Europe. Some good games, Italy, Belgium, especially I would say Hungary, Netherlands. So some time to rest about club football and to focus in the national team. So stay with us. Of course, we are going to analyze the best 9 games. So guys, remember, press the like, subscribe, and now let's go on with the show. Well, this is the Nations League Match Day 3. In this video, normally we are going to analyze League A, where the best teams are, but we are going to start with League B, because here we have England and they are playing at home against Greece. And of course, it's a game that called our attention with the new manager. Interim manager 𝐬𝐭𝐴 made his debut and he won against Ireland, against Finland, and also Greece had started really well this group with 6 points. Alvaro, this is a new Greece, as you know, after not qualifying for the Euros. In the playoff, Poyet is no longer there, is 𝐬𝐭𝐵𝐵, but they had a good start, 5 goals scored, 0 goals conceded.
Yes, indeed, absolutely. And they are topping their group, 6 points, as many as England, a better goal difference than the English national side. Greece did the job against the Republic of Ireland. They also did so against Finland. But this is the kind of game in which they may struggle. I also remember Greece being kind of competitive, if not good, in the Euro 2024 qualifier. But then when they had to play against the Netherlands, and especially against France, you could see that there was a gulf in the level. All that said, I think that Greece, from the B League, is one of these teams that is preparing something is cooking in there. And I think that this is a team not to be underestimated, because they've got some good young talent coming through the ranks. For example, Christos Tsolis, who scored a beautiful goal the other day, by the way, with Bruges in Europe. Christos Tsolis is one of the new stars. I also like 𝐋𝐞𝐿 from 𝐵AUK Thessaloniki, a player that I've seen live a few times. We know who they are. 𝗂𝗵cas, for example, at Celta, he's the third choice striker and he's not a bad option for 𝐜𝐨𝐧𝐧𝐸. But this is obviously a work in progress for a team that was doing decently in the Euro qualifier. The likes of Bakasetas, for example, are already important players, winning a title for Panathinaikos. But they are playing against an English side that right now looks pretty good. It's still for me to be seen. Number one, if England is going to be daring, adventurous, and ambitious when it comes to playing against tough opposition. But 𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐴 is a manager that I don't have so many doubts about. I think that in the Euro under 21 in summer 2023, he took England to the title, and England played reasonably well, if not very well, with a lot of talent, of course, but 𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐴 was a manager who was up to the challenge. A couple of last misses for England, unfortunately, this weekend. 𝐻𝐵𝐿𝐴, the Aston Villa defender, and Morgan Gibbs-White pick injuries. I don't think that they are capital players for England, to be honest. And I think that England is going to win this game. You know, there are a few players who have a point to prove. For example, Cole Palmer being one of them. For me, he's one of the best English players, and he should start for England. He scored a marvelous poker of goals, 4 goals against Brighton and Hove Albion only in a half, 8 days ago. Harry Kane, the top scorer of the team. The other day, he played his 100th goal with England. He scored 68 goals already with the shirt of England as well. I think that, the attacking talent is there. Greece can show ioannidis, who has scored 3 goals already in the Nations League. England has a big pool of talent, but I expect England to win. So to find the value, I will go to the over market. I think that this can happen, even though the Greek defense has been pretty decent so far. But over 2.5 goals, something that tend to happen when England plays at home in the qualifiers, 177. Otherwise, I'm going to stay with 𝐻𝐵 to score. Here, I'm more than happy to go to the individual market, wait, obviously, for the lineup to see if 𝐻𝐵 is fully fit and all that. But 𝐻𝐵 to score should be in the region of 170, and I think the value is pretty decent.
Madueke, Saka, also some players that scored at the weekend. Maybe I'm a bit old, Alain, but England, Greece, and I remember David Beckham's free kick.
I see. This is the first image, and it was a day really special because remember the relationship between English fans with Beckham after the World Cup in Germany was really pretty bad. And that day, I think every English fans change his meaning about David Beckham. Now, Greece, yes, is an interesting project. In my opinion, it was a big deception to don't go to the Euro because Poyet build something strong. 𝐬𝐵 known very well the Greek football because he managed a few teams. He knows what is the pressure because he managed Panathinaikos in a very delicate moment about Panathinaikos with a lot of economic problem. But in spite of that, he won a Greek Cup, and he won that call about the national team. In the first game in Greece, we see 𝐬𝐵 start to build a team with a lot of experience in defensive phase. Players like 𝐬𝐵, 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀 will give the balance. In the middle, 𝐵𝗏𝗏𝗀 is a brilliant player with a lot of fantasy. Now, maybe with the young player, Greek doesn't have a lot of talent except 𝐶𝐵𝗏𝗏𝗀 from PAOK, who is really brilliant. It's difficult to check a player under 22 with something special except the PAOK player. England still to search an identity. Is really strange how England don't have a manager because World Cup arrive soon, and in 2 years working with a national team is difficult. I don't know, maybe they have some contract with some manager who was training this season, but I am curious to see what will be changed, how will be changed England, because England need to change, need to play better. For that game, I think Greece is able to score, both team to score odds 2.48.
Imagine Guardiola, no, leading England next season in the build-up for the World Cup. Who knows? Everyone says it's Guardiola's last year with Man City, and he said that he wanted to train a national team, so it could be the perfect match. On Thursday we have 2 more games. Now we jump into League A, Group 2. Here we have Italy, France, Belgium, and Israel. First game, Israel-France, to be played in Budapest. Israel, as we all know, the weakest team in this Group A, lost to Italy, lost to Belgium, 4 defeats in the last 5 games, and I guess, Alain, the eyes are on France because the defeat at home against Italy left a lot of doubts, criticism around Deschamps after the Euro disappointment as well. And Deschamps had decided not to call Mbappé for this game. Griezmann also said goodbye to the national team. So Deschamps is under pressure, but he's used to be under pressure and he knows the job, of course, to deal with everything.
Yes, I think it's a dangerous game for France because Israel have probably the best generation size the 40 years. They do really well in the Euro under 21. They go to the World Cup under 20. They go to the Olympic Games. We don't remember a young team from Israel with that potential and with that results. Now, the transition to the national team, to the absolute, is quite delicate because we saw some results under about the prospection, and I think we saw some limit against Belgium and especially against Italy, and now against France probably is the best moment to meet France, because France I think is explicit into the vestiary is not the best romance. I think they have a lot of problem, and Deschamps is the man to do that. I have some doubt without the ball, because we saw in the first two games a team really weak, concede a lot, and in offensive way we know Deschamps the limit about the idea of the model of play of Didier Deschamps. For that reason, I think Israel will be score against France, and I choose, like England, Greece, both teams to score odds 2.18.
Who is gonna lead this new France, Alvaro? No Griezmann, no Mbappe. We saw a good Marcos Thuram with Inter, for instance, this weekend.
Yes, Marcos Thuram scored a hat-trick against Torino. I want to ask Alain Valnegri if this is the best moment of Marcus Thuram in Serie A, because it looks to me like yes. Right now, his headers were very impressive the other day.
I think he's not more the partner of Lautaro. He can play without Lautaro. He has best number than Lautaro from the beginning of the season, and it's interesting Thuram how changed the register since he arrived to Inter, because maybe before he was a left wing. He born like left wing. After he played like striker in Mönchengladbach the last season, but in Inter he do the playmaker, the offensive playmaker, the second striker the last season. And this season we saw Marcus Thuram in another register, more near to the goal. Yes, is his best moment. Now he must to do something more with national team, because in France nobody understands the success about Marcus Thuram in Serie A.
Well, let's see. I'm backing him to score. So let's see how he does. But yeah, Marcus Thuram to score. I mean, the 𝐿𝐵𝐴 of the Serie A, all together with Retegui, right? For me, there is a chance that he scores in Israel also. Kylian Mbappe is not there. I wonder who's going to take the penalties. In France, by the way, there is a chance to take a penalty because Antoine Griezmann is not playing, Kylian Mbappe either. I'm not too sure. Pogba is no longer there. So maybe, there is a little bit of a modification of the hierarchies in this October window in the French national side, just because some of the best players are missing or gone. And Antoine Griezmann's departure from the French national side is not going to be so easy to replace, because I think that there was a time when France, I'm not talking about the early 2000s when they had Zidane and 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐻, for example. I'm not talking about 2015 when Mathieu Valbuena was there, very underrated footballer, by the way, and Antoine Griezmann were there. But now, I wonder who the playmakers are going to be, because I look at the squad that Didier Deschamps got for this October window, and in midfield, for me, the creative assets will be on paper, but they are not that creative either. 𝐷𝗵𝐴, 𝗀𝗏, maybe 𝐻𝐭𝐻 from Roma, I don't think so. But 𝐷𝗵𝐴 is playing well for Lazio. Sometimes his passing to Tati Castellanos this season has been really good, but none of them are particular creators. So over there, France are going to find it difficult to find a footballer who can actually link between the lines, the strikers and the midfielders. But yeah, Marcus Thuram to score will be one of my picks for sure. I'm happy to take that risk. And when it comes to Israel, look, 4 defeats in the last 5. You say that in the introduction, Edu. In the Nations League 2022-2023, they were unbeaten at home. And they were in the B League as well. But we have to say, they were in the B League and they got promoted. But we have to say that they didn't play against Russia, because midway through the tournament, Russia got banned, and then at home they played against Iceland and Albania. But this is a different level. They are in the A League and they may suffer a little bit. I'm going to go for a totally opposite to what Alain said, by the way, a clean sheet for France here. I think the value can be there, 183.
I can see, Alvaro, that after the weekend you are concerned or worried about the penalty takers after seeing your Athletic missing 3 penalties against Girona. It's an important
Don't
issue.
talk about that again. I mean,
It's
what
an
was that?
important issue. Yeah,
What
but
was
listen,
that?
I was watching the game. You have to, of course, choose wisely your penalty takers. Well, in this group, we have Italy, Belgium. Italy top of the group with 2 wins against France and Israel. I remember in our last show, Alvaro, you were heavily criticizing 𝐸𝐭𝐴𝐻𝐿 before the game France-Belgium. And actually, France beat Belgium 2-0. Belgium had chances that day in Marseille, but again, they lost. So I can imagine your idea about 𝐸𝐻𝐿 has not changed. And if you are back in Italy, that it looks like now they are back stronger after a poor Euros, the odds are good, 2.15.
They are good, and I'm gonna back Italy here. Number one, Italy should improve. I think that the Euro came too early, for example, for Spalletti's Italy, but should improve. Italy started with 2 wins in the Nations League. They beat France impressively, 3-1, with the super goal from, was it 𝐷i who scored that beautiful goal? I think so, yeah. And then they beat Israel. Fine. I know that for this game, 𝐵arella and Jorginho are not there in the squad, but still, I think that Italy at home is capable of beating Belgium, with Matteo Retegui being probably one of the outstanding players, not necessarily one of the best of Italy right now, but the truth is that he's scoring the goals. He scored a hat-trick against Genoa, by the way. And then, well, Daniel Maldini will have the chance to earn and to enjoy his first ever cup for Italy. The player from Monza, who is the son of Paolo Maldini, that would be nice. But yeah, only one thing I want to say about Belgium, apart from what history says, that Belgium hasn't beaten Italy in a competitive game in 52 years, more than half a century. The problem with Belgium is that some of the players, I don't really know if they want to be there to start with. Some of the quotes of Kevin De Bruyne during after games are really, really, really weird. Sometimes it's like he is pointing at a lack of leadership, and I know that Belgium has the talent and a few players that are very good, but I always found during the Euro that Domenico Tedesco had 3 or 4 players totally out of position, and that made the team worse. Kevin De Bruyne, playing at the base, for example, was the best representation of that. I remember in the Euros, Yannick Carrasco, who was not ready for a few things, just not playing as a wing back, but playing sometimes as a winger, which is not his best position at this stage of his career. And I just think that Belgium doesn't play good football. And I do believe that the manager is not making the most of what they are. So I'm going to back Italy here. My safe bet will be a draw no bet for Italy, 150. My favorite bet will be Asian handicap minus 0.25 for Italy. But the best bet, obviously, is Italy to win 210. And I will be more than happy to take it too.
Well, 𝐿𝐶𝐭𝐴𝐻𝐿 got injured this summer, and Retegui is stepping up with Atalanta, some big names, Fratesi, 𝐵arella for Spalletti. Alain, are you optimistic with Italy coming into the World Cup?
It's difficult to be optimistic right now after the last 8 years, but we must be optimistic because Italy, how many options or better option have than Spalletti? Now,
The best option.
Euro was really poor. Right now, the beginning of Nations League was good and in some moment brilliant in France. We saw a team of Spalletti, really reactive with a lot of change of position, a liquid team, and the back of Sandro Tonali, I think, is one of the key of that. To have different player in every line, because in defense, I think Italy with Bastoni and Calafiori have really good defender. In the midfield, Tonali must to be the differential player in the midfield. We saw an excellent 𝐻𝐿 from the beginning of the season in Torino. And after, the biggest question is the attack, because when you see the attack of Italy, Raspadori doesn't play in Napoli. Maldini play in Monza. Big talent. I'm not critic with Maldini, but he play in Monza. Retegui, yes, but Retegui, Italy must to go in Argentina to give his the passport to permit to play in Italy. And Ken, the last season he doesn't score. He has a very good season, beginning of the season in Florence, but if you check the past and we check now the quality in the attack, is really poor. And Spalletti must have found solution there. But I think the road is good, and we wait a confirmation against Belgium. Belgium is a transition moment, because when you are without Kevin De Bruyne, without Lukaku, you have Witsel left the national team. Carrasco is not played for this game. Meunier is out. Courtois is out. It's clearly a transition from Belgium. Now, if you check the attack and the midfield, in the midfield, I see something special in Belgium, because Tielemans is very good in Aston Villa. Mangala, warning with Mangala, because I think he has the potential to be the brain of this selection. Fofana, we saw that in Europa League, he has a big potential. And in attack, Lois Openda is a brilliant striker. Now, what is the big question is, what is the relationship between Tedesco with the vestiary? And in Belgium is historical. They have a lot of problem with that. Link with the problem, the players are separate in the vestiary, and it was the limit about the golden generation of Belgium. In spite of that, I see Italy with something more in collective way, and I choose Italy winning odds 2.15.
This game to be played at the Olímpico, Álvaro?
Yeah, just very quickly. Of course, Alain is totally right. I mean, some key players are missing, and this is a little bit transitional as well. But some of the players of the Belgium squad, though, look good to me. I mean, they are not as good as the former, stars. But 𝐬𝐭𝐴 the other day was the man who was the decider in the Grand Derby of Sevilla. Jeremy Doku scored for Manchester City in the weekend. Leandro Trossard, if he is not the number 12 footballer in Arsenal, nobody is. I mean, he can really be a game changer from the number 10 position. It's just that it looks like it's difficult to handle all that for Tedesco. It looks like they don't know how to play for him. And this is something that I blame it on the coach for not being able to pass on his ideas very well to the footballers.
Mm-hmm. Well, Italy playing with Israel next game, Belgium with France. So it's a very difficult international break for the Belgian national team. These games on Thursday. On Friday, we have Hungary, Netherlands. This is in Group 3. We have here also Bosnia and Germany. Next game, by the way, is Germany. Netherlands, very entertaining. Alain, this Netherlands, as almost always, we saw a really good game, 2-2 with Germany before the break. They beat Bosnia 5-2. We saw Reinders scoring a couple of goals. 𝐿𝐵𝐴 usually delivering with the national team, but for instance, some other players that scored in the previous international break, like 𝐶IRC, we are not seeing him a lot for United. On the opposite side, we have Hungary. They disappointed us in the Euros, and they haven't started well also this Nations League.
Yes, Hungary. I waited something more in the Euro. I think it was one of the worst team, because they arrived really strong. Hungary doesn't lose one game in last 2 years before the Euro, and in spite of that, in the Euro we don't saw his best version. Warning: Hungary, when they played at home, we must to go back to 2022 to see Hungary lose a game at home. It was against Italy. Team able to catch a draw against Germany, and the team, especially when they're playing in Budapest, not a lot of teams are able to score more than one goal. Rossi build a really strong team in collective way with a low block. They're known to wait you. Now we waiting something more or a partner for 𝐬𝐭𝐴 Szoboszlai, because Szoboszlai sometimes is difficult for him to have the striker who score what he is able to create. He made a really good beginning of the season. Salah must have more personality to be the leader about this attack. Warning with Christopher Horvat, the young player from 𝐿𝐵𝐻, and maybe he can be the striker who need Hungary, because I think it's the line where Hungary need to be to have an important player. Netherlands is always the funny team. The funny team, then is impossible to change the mentality. Now, respect to the Euro, I am curious to understand the structure about the midfield, because we saw a Gravenberch with more minutes in Liverpool. I wait a lot about Xavi Simons. Reinders start really well the season. We don't saw the turn cup miners in the Euro, but he's a player must to make the difference and be the leader of that midfield for the World Cup. And like a striker, 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐧𝐧𝐸 choose the worst club to grow because he had a lot of offer. I think in Bologna he made a brilliant season with the ball like striker, with the ball like playmaker. But now we must to grow up in the international way. In spite of that, I think Hungary will be follow without losing at home. I choose double opportunity, 1x odds 2.35.
A surprise, Man United is a cemetery, as we all know. By the way, Reinders, he's playing for the Netherlands, and his brother chose to play for Indonesia since they have their mother is from the Asian country. Alvaro, how do you see this game?
Every time I think about Indonesia, I think about Radja Nainggolan. Is it possible that he has, his roots there, right? Yeah. What a player, by the way. It's a shame that he was a heavy smoker. But yeah, I love Nainggolan. I thought that he was so good for Roma. Anyway, he was fantastic. Look, but I think that this game is going to be pretty entertaining, really.
He's currently playing in Indonesia, by the way. He's still active, and he's playing in an Indonesian team. Bayangkara Presisi, Indonesia. Second league of Indonesia, not even the first league.
Playing for fun. Playing for fun in there, of course. Good for him. For this game, Hungary, Netherlands, I expect a bit of a show, really. I think that despite the Netherlands manager, their instinct and their way of playing will make them attack. Because it's in the roots of the Netherlands, really, to do that and to try to go out there and impose themselves. 𝐋𝐞𝐿 will be there. Frenkie de Jong is quite not ready, so he's not in the squad, but hopefully he will be there very soon. The Liverpool guys this season have been phenomenal, really phenomenal, especially Ryan Gravenberch, a footballer that last season was competing with Wataru Endo and with Curtis Jones for a place in Liverpool midfield, because Szoboszlai and McAllister earned 2 spots. The spots were theirs. And who was going to be the number 3 midfielder? Well, a year later, we know that Ryan Gravenberch has been settled as the third midfielder of the team, and he's playing very well. He's very elastic. He goes up and down, and he's not necessarily a game organizer, but he wins many duels, and in this era in which managers appreciate duels so much and duel winners, well, Ryan Gravenberch fits that mold. Then 𝐿𝐵𝗿𝗍𝗀, anytime he gets some playtime, he's providing either goals or assists, mainly for the Dutch national team, where he is the big star up front together with Xavi Simons, and then Virgil van Dijk. That's why I'm referring to the Dutch trio of Liverpool, because I think that they can be important in this game. Then Timber, I don't think that he's going to be ready for this game, right? After not featuring for Arsenal in the weekend. 𝐶𝐸𝐿, maybe he can find his best possible version again playing for the Netherlands, because at Manchester United he's suffering from the situation of the club. He didn't start, for example, against Aston Villa on Sunday. And yeah, I think that I expect goals more than ever. Hungary can be entertaining. They are not the team anymore that went 14 games unbeaten between 2022 until 2024. In that run, the likes of Germany, England, Serbia, or Turkey didn't win or even lost against the Hungarians. But yeah, Hungary in the Euro was slightly disappointing, especially in the game against Switzerland, the first game of the competition. They lost it 3-1, and they are too reliant on 𝐸𝐵𝗿𝗍. So I'm going to go for over 2.5 goals, 160. I think that the Netherlands are going to win it anyway, but I prefer the goals market. I think that this can happen. Or 𝐻𝐿𝐵𝗿 to score or assist. Check, obviously, the lineup, if he plays, and go for it. If you want to back any individual market in Hungary, obviously 𝐸𝐵𝗍𝗍 is the obvious man, but in 2024, 𝗏𝗏 has scored a decent amount of goals for Hungary. I don't even know if he's going to start this game, because that is not a given, but still, if he's on the pitch, normally he's dangerous too. But if I go for an individual market, has to be for the Netherlands and has to be for 𝐻𝐿𝐵𝗿, for obvious reasons. His numbers with the Netherlands in 2024 have been good.
Well, funny enough, by the way, Nainggolan plays for a club that is linked to the national police of Indonesia. You would never say that, right? Nainggolan, for the way he plays, he was a tough guy, but now he's playing for the.
But isn't that, Edu, a classic police move? You sign the most dangerous man, and you bring it to your side. You bring him to your side.
Undercover, he's undercover.
Yeah.
Next game on Friday, League B. Here we have a funny group with Ukraine and Georgia. We love Georgia, but we've chosen Czech Republic. Albania is the other game of this group. Group 1 here, Georgia 6 points, Albania, Czech Republic 3, Ukraine with 0. You were talking about disappointments in the Euros, like Hungary. We can say the same for the Czech Republic, but Alvaro, they beat Ukraine in the last match with Souček scoring, or in the last break, and the Czech teams have been good in Europe. It looks like they are rebuilding themselves.
Yeah, it looks like that. This game is tough, in my opinion, to bet, because you never know. I think that Albania in the Euros was interesting because they were very good in the first 10 minutes of the game, and they were very good in the last 10 minutes of the game. But if you ask them, what did you do between the 10th and the 80th minute? Probably they wouldn't have a clear answer. I think the game plan was to stay together and to defend well. But if you look at the highlights of the Euro 2024, Albania was good in the first 10 minutes and in the last 10 minutes as well. Do you remember that they scored against Italy so quickly in the Euros as well? But when it comes to the Group B1 here, I'm just checking their numbers. They got 1 win and they suffer 1 defeat as well. Basically, those are identical numbers to the Czech Republic, with the difference that the Czech Republic has conceded more goals. They have conceded 6. It's interesting, this game. I think that both sides have the ability to score, as we have seen in the group so far. Albania, not such a heavy scoring side, 2 goals in 2 games, but the Czech Republic has scored 4 and have conceded 6. So this points me in the direction of over 2.25 goals, just because the Czech Republic, I can see them scoring, but they also have or have shown defensive frailty. So over 2.25 goals will be 168. Both teams to score 195. Over there could be a discussion about what's more intelligent to do. I think that over 2.25 goals can be good, as opposed to both teams to score. Otherwise, I'm gonna back Albania somehow with an Asian handicap plus 0.25 in the first half. That pays 188. So if they draw in the first half, you get half a win, and if they win the first half, you get the full win. I think that something like that can happen. I'm not saying that Albania is the favorite, not at all, but maybe in the first half they can get their act together and put a good performance in this game.
Actually, they are super underdog, 5.5 for Albania to win, perhaps too much the underdog, Alain.
Yes, but I think Czech Republic have a good team. I think Czech Republic have two teams who gives interesting players to the national team is 𝐬𝐭𝐵𝗋𝐿, especially 5 years ago, but some players still there, and Slavia Praga. Slavia Praga with Koufal and Souček, I think is the player, more the stronger player and more symbol about this generation of Czech Republic. I waited a lot about Patrick Schick. Yes, so many problems with the injury. I waited a lot about Adam Lozek. He left Leverkusen to go to Hoffenheim. In spite of that, he's not playing from the beginning in Czech Republic. But you have two players can give a lot of things. First is 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲, the center midfielder, who see him in Pilsen play at very good level. With Souček is very good midfielder in the center way, and especially Sulc. Sulc starts really well the season. He scored in his local league. He scored with the national team. He scored in Europa League against Eintracht Frankfurt. And at this moment, in offensive way, is the guy with the best streak. And we know the striker live about the streak. Albania, we know is a collective. Is a collective play, really with a lot of passion. We have a really good defensive phase, very good transition. It's really a direct and vertical team. And a curious thing, Albania scored and received a lot of goals in the second half. Normally, the statistic said that. For that reason, I choose over 1.75 goals in the second half, odds 2.65.
All right, let's move back to League A in Group 1. Here we have Portugal with 6, Croatia, Poland with 3, Scotland with 0. And the first game we are going to analyze is Croatia. Scotland still Croatia with Modric, and actually he scored the winner against Poland, and he's one of the best players of this Real Madrid. Also 𝐿𝐵𝐴𝐺 is one of the best players of Man City, scoring at the weekend. Scotland, Alain, as I said, 0 points, the weakest team in the group. They were also very poor at the Euros. I can understand why the odds therefore are so low for Croatia, 1.6.
Yes, but Croatia, the biggest doubt is the defense. Is the defense. We saw that at the Euro. At the Euro, Croatia was really poor without the ball. We saw against Spain, against Albania, against Italy, with a big limit in the management of the results. Who is the best line defensive in Croatia? It's difficult to say for name, because we saw a lot of problem in that line. After in the midfield, in attack, Croatia has always talent, always. The last one is Matanovic, after a brilliant season in Bochum last season. This season he is in Eintracht Frankfurt, and he start really well the season. Modric that must to clone Modric in Croatia, but it's clearly the intention of Modric. The goal is arrived to the World Cup 2022. 26, and we know Croatia made better in World Cup than in Euro, and that one we wait a confirmation. Now Scotland was one of the poorest team in the Euro, clearly. Scotland tried to build something interesting, in my opinion, because it's not the typical kick and rush team from UK. And I think with 𝐬𝐿, with �McTominay, sorry, and with McLean, about that structure in the midfield, Scotia can do something really, really interesting. Now there needs some, maybe a striker, a killer, but McGinn too is a really interesting player for the way of they wanna play Scotland. In spite of that, is a really difficult game for Scotland. I choose Croatia score first because in 75% of his game at home, Croatia scored first, odds 1.48.
Scott McTominay having a great impact in Serie A with Napoli, by the way, Alvaro.
Well, the other day he scored the opener for Napoli after a minute. Romelu Lukaku set up for Scott McTominay, and McTominay just hit a very good screamer with the right foot, hit the post, and the goalkeeper of was it 𝐬𝐿, I believe, could do nothing about it. But I think that finally, McTominay has a manager that understands what he is about. McTominay is not a midfielder to keep possession. He's a ball winner and a midfielder that is very dangerous when he runs towards the box without the ball. So basically, if he gets a pass in the box, if he can go for a header, if the game is a little bit chaotic, but he has the opportunity to be in the perimeter of the box or enter the box, then he is a good footballer. Dangerous one, by the way. And Scotland is a team that away from home doesn't do too well, we have to say that. Missing many players, by the way, because McKenna in the center of the defense, Ferguson in midfield, Tierney also in the defense, McGinn are capital misses for Scotland. I'm not too sure about their manager, Steve Clarke. I think that he has always a reactive approach, even with the press. And I don't think that helps him or helped the mood. In the Euros, Scotland was disappointing. In my opinion, Croatia was not that disappointing, despite struggling to qualify. I would say that Croatia against Spain, despite losing 3-0, they weren't that bad. And against Italy, if it wasn't for Calafiori's tremendous technique to run with the ball, maybe Croatia would have qualified. And yes, Croatia obviously is a team that little by little the old generation is leaving, but on the other hand, some of the players that remain have a very good relation with the scoring. Mateo Kovacic scored the brace for Manchester City this weekend. By the way, it was the first time that Mateo Kovacic scored the brace at club level since he played for Inter, but Kovacic, we know that he can score, and for Chelsea and for Croatia has scored important goals. And same thing applies to 𝐬𝐿𝐴, the midfielder from Real Sociedad, who scored the screamer, by the way, against Atletico last night. So, the potential to score goals from midfield is there. Croatia maybe doesn't have attackers who actually are banging the goals, 15, 20 goals per season. But that's why they have been... Sorry?
Budimir scored a good goal also this weekend.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, he's not a 20 goals a season striker, maybe, but he's a good striker. But that's why they have won so many games over the last 5 years, 1-0, 2-1, tight margins, but they know how to handle them. So I think that Croatia has been, over the last 5 years, a better team than Scotland, and I do believe that they still are. So I'm going to back them plain and simple. Croatia to win, 161.
In this group, Croatia and Portugal should fight for the first spot. Portugal, 6 points. They were able to beat Croatia and Scotland, and we saw even Cristiano Ronaldo scoring at that time, and he's still in the list. Also, Diogo Jota doing well for Liverpool. So, Alvaro, we could see Lewandowski versus Cristiano Ronaldo still, and Lewandowski on fire.
Well, that will be interesting. I think that both players are very capable of scoring here. If you want to do like some sort of a vintage combination, you could go for Cristiano to score and Lewandowski to score and put it all together. And maybe you wouldn't be too far from what's going to happen, really. Robert Lewandowski, the top scorer of La Liga, 3 goals against 𝐬𝐵𝐴. What I like about Lewandowski this season is the fact that it sounds a little bit like populist, right? But he's smiling. It looks like he's enjoying this season. Rafinha is doing a terrific work for him and for everyone, really, running a lot, just being the first one who brings the intensity to the team. And Robert Lewandowski is very focused on scoring this season. He's not playing bad. And he has 2 providers like Rafinha and especially Lamine Yamal who are making his life easier. But then, you know, he hasn't lost this muscle memory of scoring. I think that he's been a good signing overall. I know that his age is not great, 36 years old, going or to 37 next season, but he's still, bringing scoring numbers. And when it comes to Cristiano Ronaldo, look, maybe in the big games, I think Cristiano Ronaldo is missing something. If Portugal plays against France or against the likes of, a potential quarter-finalist of the Euro or the World Cup, Cristiano Ronaldo is missing something. But in qualifiers or in the Nations League, especially in the group stage, Cristiano Ronaldo is more than a valid striker, a very valid striker, in fact. He got 2 goals in the previous window. And, Poland right now is a team that doesn't give me many guarantees. I think that they are a little bit rigid still. They are missing sometimes some creative patterns. Whereas Portugal, yes, they've got a pool of talent. In my opinion, their manager is very overrated, a little bit like Tedesco, really. But still, if you put that quality together on the pitch, normally you win games. And I think that Portugal is capable of winning this one. So I'm going to go for Portugal to win, 175. It could be the case that it's a low-scoring game, because sometimes Portugal away from home is not high scoring and Poland neither. But still, with this attacking talent that both have, things will happen. And I think that Portugal is going to prevail. Portugal to win, 175.
We have Joao Felix, we have 𝐶𝐿𝐶𝐿, for instance, in Portugal's list, but a lot of quality also in the midfield. Alain with Bernardo Silva, with Bruno Fernandes, with Vitinha, with Palhinha. A lot of quality in Portugal.
Well, Neves, no, it's amazing. Portugal is amazing, the talent that I have. Now the big question, the way where Roberto Martinez must to change something is the model of play, to play offensive football. Because with Santos, we suffer when we saw Portugal during a lot of years. Because with that type of player, offer a football really conservative and defensive, was, in my opinion, a manager who don't know really well his squad. Now Roberto Martinez was called for that, to change something and give more solution in offensive way. Portugal must to dominate the game. Portugal with the player is not a player must to put the block low and waiting the rival. That must to dominate the game. That one is the biggest job of Martinez is that one, because they have differential player in every role, from the goalkeeper until the striker. Now in Poland is curious to Poland confirm Michał Probierz. He do a very good job in Jagiellonia. He qualified the team for the Euro with a lot of chance, because when he won in Galles in Wales, it was a lucky game for them. After the late winning in Scotland, Poland lose in Croatia with the same problem. That doesn't dominate the game. It's the most defensive team in Europe, Poland. And you have Zielinski, you have Zalewski, you have Lewandowski. When you saw Lewandowski playing in the national team of Poland, it's sad. It's sad because Poland had one of the best strikers in the last 15 years in the European football. But how many occasions have Lewandowski per game? It's really poor. It's really poor. Now maybe with 𝗵𝗵𝗄, who is scoring a lot of goals in Los Angeles, maybe 𝗀𝗵𝗀 in Bologna start really well and can maybe give something more in offensive way. But in spite of that, I think Portugal is really favorite. I choose Portugal winning, odds 1.75.
Thiago Santos is not in the list, Alain, and I was very impressed by his performance against Real Madrid, the little right back.
Yes, but yes, they have a quantity and quality, Portugal, and it's difficult. Some role is difficult to let at home some player. And
do you know who is very good?
Eh?
No, I was going to say that some talent is there. Renato Veiga, for example, is playing very well as well for Chelsea.
Yeah. But Pote too, in Sporting, play unbelievable level. But Roberto Martinez have a Formula One. Now I am curious to see what he will be do, because in the Euro, I waited more about Portugal. Like we waited more with his Belgium, with the golden generation. And now the question is, Ronaldo still important for this team? Ronaldo limit the team with his presence in the field. In Euro, in some games, I see Ronaldo was a limit. And I love Ronaldo, but Ronaldo, in my opinion, now in Portugal, he must to start the game in the bench. And after few minutes, 70 or 60, 70 minutes, he go to the field. He can make the difference. But start to the beginning, I am not so positive with that.
It's the big dilemma, no? In Portugal and with Roberto Martinez, he was accused of being a diplomat in the Euros and trying to keep everyone happy, and it didn't work. And two more games to analyze to be played on Saturday. This is a hot one. Serbia, Switzerland. Tell me, Alain, about this game, because I guess it's going to be hot. Serbia, 1 point after the draw at home in Belgrade against Spain. Switzerland, 0 points after the great Euros. They were thrashed by Spain 4-1 despite playing against 10 men. A lot of history between these two teams.
Yes, a lot of tension because Switzerland have a lot of players. From his parents are come from Kosovo, and that one don't help the relationship in the field with 𝐶𝐿𝐴. 𝐶𝐿𝐴 will be not in the field because 𝐶𝐿𝐴 was sent off in Denmark, and 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐴 chose to don't call 𝐶𝐿𝐴. It's curious there will be play in Belgrade, but in a small stadium. Maybe that is a reason to don't have problem. They would be playing in 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐻. Serbia is one of the team with the best potential in offensive way, but they never found the solution. They never found the solution to exploit that big potential. It's curious to don't saw 𝗀𝗵𝗄 in the list, because he's in a very good moment, in a streak in Champions and in Serie A. Tadić, Milinkovic-Savic are not in the list. We will be see. Now Stojkovic must to change some things, especially in the midfield, because Serbia have player to dominate the game. Samardžić, Ilić, Nemanja Maksimovic, Zivkovic is brilliant in Greece. Sasa Lukic too in Fulham is a player, can be the brain of this team. And Serbia wanna win against Switzerland. They have special motivation, because in the last two World Cup, losing against Switzerland was really a defeat, really heavy for Serbian fans. And the last Euro, it was one of the best disappointed team because the game, the content was really negative. Switzerland arrived with some key player, important key player about the last 10 years will be not in the field. Cher, Sommer, Shaqiri, Xhaka will be not in the field. 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲 doesn't want call Noah Okafor, the player in Milan, don't call 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲. The first two games about this generational transition was negative because in Denmark they lose 2-0 and after against Spain we saw the limit and the job as 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲. For that game, I think Serbia is too motivated to win the game. Is the moment for Serbia to beat Switzerland because Switzerland is really weak. Without Xhaka, I choose Serbia winning 𝐋𝐞𝐿 odds 1.80.
No wins for Serbia since before the Euros, since before the friendly games, Alvaro, before the Euros.
Yeah, I know. They weren't bad against Spain, though. Do you remember 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲 miss?
Yeah.
Against David Raya.
No matter when you say this, I remember Jovic missing chances.
I could have made this comment in 2020 and it could have been totally valid. Probably. I mean, the man, I don't know, he never replicated the level he showed at Frankfurt. But in all fairness, Sebastian Haller neither, with maybe a few exceptions here and there. But, you know, I still believe Luka Jovic at his level, playing for a side, is mid-table, maybe with the possibility to qualify for the Conference League. He can be a good striker, but he will never be elite. But anyway, I'm not here to slander the poor man. The truth is that, you know, Serbia has been a little bit of an underachiever, a little bit rigid, in my opinion, with talent, yes, but with talent that then with talent that doesn't show how good they are, especially internationally or at European level. And we have seen that a lot with a few footballers here and there. For me, it's puzzling. I'm bewildered about Dusan Vlahovic not being there because I think that right now he's in a terrific form. And he showed the other day his form against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. You know, but Stojkovic has different plans. Of course, I don't know what's the rationale behind leaving him outside. Maybe leaving him out. Maybe Vlahovic needed a rest. I don't know. I really don't know. But for this game, you know, I'm going to back Switzerland somehow. I know that I'm going against the title and I'm going against Alain's pick. And Switzerland, yes, they were disappointing, especially not only in Denmark, but then against Spain. Spain beat them 4-1 with 10 men. And Spain got reduced to 10 men in the first half. And yet they won the game. But I think that Switzerland can get the most of Serbia just because they've got a bigger muscle memory. I mean, Switzerland, over the last 6 or 7 years, they've been maybe a 10% better than they should have been, which is a massive compliment for a football side. So I'm going to back them with an Asian handicap plus 0.25. If they draw, you get a half a win. If they win, you win. 167.
And the last game we are going to analyze on Saturday as well, Spain-Denmark in Murcia. Denmark leaders, top of the group, 4 goals scored, 0 goals conceded, 6 points. Spain losing important pieces of the Euro winners, Rodri out for the season. Now, 𝐻𝐵𝐻𝐿, what you have to tell me, Alvaro, I'm still crying for 𝐻𝐵𝐻𝐿 out the whole season. Even Ferran Torres is going to miss this game. Bad news for Luis de la Fuente.
Look, just to reply to that question, when 𝐻𝐵𝐻𝐿 is on the pitch, I know that probably everything is going to be right. He's one of the defenders that I trust most in football. His marking is phenomenal. He is competitive. He stays competitive every game, and he sets the competitive tone for the rest of the team. In that aspect, he's one of the best right backs I've ever seen. And you know, I know that the world is not ready for this conversation, okay? Because it's probably established that Cafu and later Dani Alves are 2 of the best contemporary right backs. But Dani 𝐻𝐵𝐻𝐿 has a totally different style. himself is about defending more than about attacking. I disagree with him being the candidate for the Ballon d'Or, but I still believe that he has to be in that conversation with Dani Alves and Cafu, bringing a totally different style, defensive style, but he has won a goal in the Champions League final. And he has been a solid performer for a Real Madrid side that has won 5 or 6 Champions Leagues over the last 10 years. So he's up there. Maybe he's not the best game creator. Maybe attacking-wise, there are better right-backs. But football and his position are also about defending. He's not a revolutionary in many aspects. He can be probably like a textbook right-back from the past in terms of I defend first and then I attack if I can. And sometimes he does it very well, don't get me wrong. But he's a terrific footballer and a massive miss for Spain. And Rodri's miss is massive as well. Basically, Spain is missing, probably for this October window, the 35% of the squad that made them champion 4 months ago. Because Unai Simón is not there. Carvajal, Rodri are not there. Lenormand, I believe he's not there. Nico Williams, let's wait and see. Nacho, Dani Olmo, Ferran Torres, Fermín, they are not there. Spain are gonna dominate. Spain are going to play with many new players, and I believe that they are going to win. It's plain and simple, because at home in qualifiers, they are terrific. I mean, I'm going to tell you something that probably people don't know, but from all the teams in the world, Spain is the only one, for example, that has never lost a World Cup qualifying game at home. Brazil lost that record 2 years ago. Spain still keeps it. Spain still keeps it. And I think that the same thing can apply to the Nations League. So I'm going to back Spain to win 140, and Spain to win the second half 167, something that tends to happen a lot, will be my preferred bet. Not to take anything away from the Dane side. Denmark was very good against Switzerland. They were competitive in the first 2 games in September. They got 6 points. They are unbeaten. They haven't conceded a goal, but I think that Spain is a big challenge for them, despite the absences of Spain, which are very big. But Lamine Yamal is on the pitch, and that makes a difference, and that probably puts Spain ahead of Denmark anyway.
But also Denmark suffer away from the Parken Stadium, Alain. Normally.
Yes, but Denmark is always Denmark found always solution, and Denmark are a really good former federation job. We see the new player Grønbæk from Rennes, 𝐬𝐵 in Manchester United, Dorgun Lecce, O'Reilly now in Brighton is injured, or Moritz Kjærgaard. There are always solution, and Denmark always play with that idea. Is a national team. When we close the eyes, we know how Denmark wanna play. It's an offensive play, offensive football with a lot of quality. And Spain-Denmark is attractive game. I speak about solution for Denmark. I think De La Fuente too found always solution. When do you work with the under 29 and 21? You form a group of players. Maybe De La Fuente dominate 30, 40 players in Spain, and he known I can count with this guy. Watch the final. You lose Rodri, he has a solution. 99% of the team lose his best player, his brain, the guy who at that point more in motivation, in technical. You lose Rodri, you don't felt he's missing, because he has the solution. And I think Spain is good for that, because they work really hard with the former. They have a group with 40, 45 players can play in the national team with the best results. And for that reason, I think we will see goals in this game. I choose over 2.5 goals for this Spain-Denmark, odds 1.90.
Zubimendi is going to be his replacement, but it's impossible, I think, to replace the best player in the number 5, as is Rodri. We will miss him. Alain, safe bet?
Spain-Denmark over 1.75 goals, odds 1.26.
Alvaro?
Spain to win, 140.
You read your minds choosing the same game. ACCA, Alvaro?
England to win the second half against Greece. Draw no bet for Italy against Belgium. Spain to win. Altogether 3.25.
Alain?
Germany winning, Turkey, Montenegro over 1.75 goals, Norway, Slovenia, both teams to score, Cyprus, Romania over 1.75 goals, total 4.18.
There is Gibraltar San Marino there, eh? You
Yeah,
didn't want to choose
I check,
that game,
but I was not
Be
so
careful,
confident
San Marino is
with the
scoring
defense
goals.
of San Marino.
San Marino is scoring goals lately. Be careful.
Didn't they get their first ever win in September?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah, 1-0. So be
Yeah,
careful
1-0.
with San Marino. Don't put Gibraltar in your ACCA because it pays very low. Also, Gibraltar to win is 1.6. Thank you, Alvaro. Thanks, Alain. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.